It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Ears Up Podcast, the show where I'm still learning how to use the board 105 shows later.
You're still a rookie, it's fine.
Something like that, man.
Well, you haven't been sleeping well, so you're probably
I really
tired.
haven't. I'm the only person, well, I'm not the only person in the world, probably, but in my mind, I'm the only person who is used to the sleep deprivation of having an infant without actually having a kid. Yeah. Like, I'm used to it. People are like, oh, you're never going to sleep. It's fine. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning anyways for 3 hours.
There's going to be
have cats.
No learning
It's
curve,
true.
man. You'll be fine.
I wonder what's going to end up being worse, the cats or the kid. And I know everybody is going to say the kid, but you guys don't know our cats.
When your cat wakes up your kid.
Oh, then I'm going to have to murder the cat.
I'm honestly a little nervous about the cats jumping into the crib.
Oh, because they're real cuddly. They like that kind of thing.
I didn't think about that, because I didn't have a cat when we had small kids. But
Yeah, I mean, they sit on chests and faces and hands and body parts,
Yeah.
you know?
And
might.
they do it without asking. That's for sure.
Yeah, which is part of why I don't sleep, man. Like our one cat, Saki, he'll come into the bedroom 3 o'clock in the morning just talking. And I'm such a light sleeper. It wakes me up, and I just it's hard to get back to sleep for me. She'll get up 5 minutes later snoring.
But you have your headphones in, right? Or earplugs?
No.
Really? I thought we talked about that before. I thought you slept with earplugs or headphones in.
I went through that phase.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah, I'm not really in that anymore.
Oh, okay.
She ain't on that wave anymore.
But I wish that we could record our cat the way that he talks to us, because when he's in the bedroom, it's kind of this like sort of nice like meow, meow. And then when we kick him out, he comes downstairs and we can hear him still
It's like
upstairs.
a wailing
and
meow?
then it's not even wailing. He's super irritated and angry, and he'll just walk all the way across. You can hear him walking all the way to the kitchen, just going rah, rah, rah.
He's cussing you
He's
out.
cussing you out.
Yeah,
He really is.
he's an old man wondering about these kids today and blah blah blah.
And why they're on his lawn.
Yeah.
It's super annoying, but it keeps me awake, man. And I don't know. Anyway, so I'm having trouble sleeping, so I'm a little discombobulated today. But hey, man, it's fine. Here we go. We got this.
Yes, we do.
We got this. Today's show, Terrence. This is Terrence who's doing.
Yeah.
We have a former Disney moms panel. I don't want to say contestant, but
Panelist.
No,
panelist. There you go. Yeah,
She
panelist.
got the job, unlike
She got the luggage.
everyone in this room.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Don't
man.
rub it in.
I've still never tried to be a Disney mom.
I'm going to be so mad if you make it the first time. And I will go as Beverly Moore. I'm telling you. I'll get a fake ID.
Hi, I'm Beverly.
Yes. Hi, my name's Beverly.
I could see Beverly making it and then getting like some weird email, and then she's just like rude.
First of all, that's
Google-
a dumb question.
Yeah. Second of all, Google.com.
Yeah.
Hi, Beverly.
Third,
Hi, Beverly. My name is Stephanie from Minnesota. I'm going to Disneyland for the first time with my 4 kids. What should I expect? First of all, Stephanie, why you got 4 kids?
second of all, you're going to be miserable the whole time because I literally watch people all the time at Disneyland, and when they have 2 kids, they're totally still having fun. More than 2, you're outnumbered, and your life sucks.
Right.
Amen.
Literally. Oh, I did learn something when I was at Disneyland the last time. I want everybody to try this. I don't know if I said this already.
All right.
Buy a funnel cake and then just walk around holding said funnel cake. Don't eat it yet, but like walk through one solid land and just look at people's faces as you walk by holding a funnel cake. Like, I heard so many people like, oh, funnel cake.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. How were they again?
And then
The
they're like,
WC Fields. Wow.
like,
Oh, my sweetheart.
but also
Okay.
like low key following me with their eyes and like trying not to stare, but like, I want that.
Wow.
It's so great. Do it.
That's awesome.
Totally do it.
Yeah, there's no way I
Worth
could
it.
make it through a land without eating the funnel cake. Like, it'd be gone. From
I think you have to eat one, then get another one
get
just
two?
to walk through.
This is just a walking funnel cake. It's fine.
Yeah, I got my road cake.
It's your walking funnel cake.
Wow.
And then go to the Stage Door Cafe
Shut
and get.
your mouth.
I just made this up.
Wow.
I was
that's a
waiting
really-
for this. I was waiting for that.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so Lindsay is going to join us here in a little bit to talk about the Disney Moms panel, what we can do to become Disney Moms panelists, what happens.
I'm excited about this.
Do you actually get luggage? Do you get a free trip? What do you get? What happens?
I
What
want
are
to know all the things.
I know. And then I want to ask her honestly about the questions.
Yes. Thank you.
Because to be honest with you, that's the weirdest part of this whole Disney Moms panel is like how you have to answer the questions in a certain way. And I just want the answer. That's just me. Like I want the answer. I'm in a hurry. I want the answer. I don't want the fluff in the beginning, but that's part of it. And I understand that. And that's probably why I haven't been a Disney Moms
I'm sure that's the reason.
panelist. That's probably exactly the reason. Okay, before we do that, though, find us on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, also SpectraRadio.us. You can, we're just on the feed there, so listen to Spectra, and then every once in a while, you'll hear our lovely voices. I'm assuming we're still on there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Unless
he
Jeremy...
said last time that we were. Yeah.
All right.
Something I think 9 a.m. on
Saturdays
or Sundays.
Jeremy's in Disneyland Paris right now.
I know he's such
There's
a jerk.
snow. It's beautiful.
He
First
gets-
of all, it's like 45 minutes outside of Paris.
Yeah.
Second of all, he goes to Paris a lot, and he's always in Disneyland Paris. It's like the Titanic for him. There's other things. There's things to do in Paris. I don't know.
Yeah,
know if
but
he knows
but
that.
he's already paying for his like super pass.
Yeah.
So
That's
I think he gets in
crazy.
there. Well, actually, does that work?
I thought it was just Walt Disney World and Disneyland.
I don't know.
I think it might be. There should be like a mega global pass.
Yeah, because isn't Disneyland Paris the one that's individually or it's like privately owned or something?
not
No.
anymore. They
Not
bought it.
anymore. Okay.
But I think it's like $50 to get in, so it's fine because nobody goes there.
It was super
They
affordable.
pay you
Right.
to go there.
You can find us on social media, of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Any feedback on this show goes to Taryn at earsup-podcast.com. Any show suggestions or, for guests or topics, that goes to Terrence. You can say hi
Hi.
to Bev.
Sorry, I wasn't. I was reading.
And anything else comes to me. I'm Jason at earsup-podcast.com. You can support us via our Amazon link. We do a little Amazon shopping. They give us a little cut of that, and that helps to keep the lights on here. You can be a reoccurring donor via PayPal. You can go to getcoveyears.com and buy Coveyears or churro shirts. You can also go to patreon.com/earsup and become a Patreon member. We have some cool, fabulous tiers for you. And we just released our secret show for January. And that was fun. We did the tiki rum drink, and it was delicious.
It was delicious.
It was pretty good. And then also, of course, we have our brand new show called Sabers and Superpowers. Anthony and his two nerd friends get together and talk about all things Marvel and Star Wars. And their show should release. I'm hoping it will release this week. I'm waiting for a show synopsis from him. And that'll be their 5th show that they've started.
Cool.
So, look, if you're a Patreon supporter, you're getting an extra show for free, and that's kind of cool. I mean, honestly, even if you're not a Patreon supporter, you get an extra show for free. But, let's not worry about that. So we're doing 3 shows a month here
Yeah.
on this program.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Hey, if you want your own show, I'm like the Netflix of podcasts. You want your own show? You get a show. You get a show. You all get shows.
Oprah.
Oprah.
Just pitch an idea.
Yeah. All right, Taryn, feedback. Feedback us, please.
All right, we only have one today, but it's kind of long. So here we go. This is
All
from Brian.
Hello, Brian.
The subject is That White Rabbits Show.
Here we go.
The White Rabbits Show was the first show I had to turn off before I finished.
Oh.
That Jake Fife guy was so full of it. The whole thing was unreal. He started out way too fast talking and used car salesman slick. And after 45 minutes, he was still, quote unquote, setting the stage for whatever the controversy was about without ever telling us the nature of it. We didn't need to know how many bands he'd been sound engineer for. And I rolled my eyes, not literally, about him talking about how he reluctantly became the leader of the social club community and resolves disputes between clubs. Like The Godfather, I guess. But the interview hit the wall with this supposed pedo stuff. Note that he was very artful about that other guy in the lawsuit sending texts to a 12-year-old girl. Jake never claimed that they were inappropriate or even bad, and never said how many. Texts could constitute, quote, "Mom wants to know where the club is having lunch," and, quote, "We're at Space Mountain now." Jake artfully made sure he wasn't going to get prosecuted for defamation, which you don't care about if the guy is actually a pedo. But where I had to turn it off was when he said he couldn't convince the mom to call the cops, and, quote unquote, only the mother could contact the cops. That is BS.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be hearsay if he did it, but all mandated reporting is hearsay too. If he was really concerned that something was going on, he's a terrible person for not calling the cops, and he's just trying to make Sarno look bad. He's a terrible person for trying to frame a guy. Nothing stopped him from calling the cops or CPS. You guys were good, and I don't have any complaints about your end of the interview.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm probably a little too hot under the collar about this guy right now, but whatever lawsuit is going on, I have a hard time. I have to believe that Fife guy is totally in the wrong. Frankly, he reminded me of the time the morning show KROK in LA had a guy on who was promoting his book about how Courtney had Kurt Cobain killed. Hijacked the show for like 2 hours with Bull and never got any supposed proof. Okay, I got that off my chest. Thanks, and keep your ears up.
All right.
Courtney did have Kurt killed, right?
What, do you have a third cousin on your grandfather's side?
I'm just saying, if you listen to the whole album that came out right afterwards, it sounds a lot like a Nirvana album.
I would never listen to a whole album.
It was a good album.
If I said that, you would turn my microphone off.
Seriously,
no, I'm not saying
for
that
real.
she did. I'm just saying that they got good all of a sudden and then got terrible again when she ran out of material that Kurt wrote before she had him murdered.
This is ridiculous.
I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding.
No, he's not. Okay, great. Yeah, well, Brian, thanks for the feedback. Look, it was a weird show.
Yeah.
It was a weird interview. I agree with some of your stuff. Hey, to each his own, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if that lawsuit goes anywhere still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if that article ever comes out.
I will tell you, after interviewing this guy, I noticed so many White Rabbit people in the park that I've never ever noticed before,
yeah.
but they roll so deep.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw several every single day I was there.
There's like 1,000 of them or something like that.
When you're fleecing guests for money, you have to roll. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Everyone relax. Everyone calm down.
For the record, Beverly Moore did not say that.
It was just a joke. Yeah, I've never seen them anywhere. And then when you were in the park,
No, I mean,
you kept sending me photos. I'm like,
They were-
wow, where did they come from?
They were everywhere.
Yeah. Crazy. I
And
don't
it
know,
wasn't
man.
the same guy. It was like several different people.
Well, I imagine that. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah.
You're welcome.
that dude was everywhere.
And you know what the weirdest part about
was
it?
omniscient.
He had shoes on.
What?
It was so weird. And he was like eating food sometimes, but sometimes not. And I think he had already eaten food, and that's why he wasn't eating.
Wow.
That's craziness.
But not the same guy.
Not the same guy.
Different
Not
guy.
the same guy. Different
He
guy.
grew and shrunk.
Yeah.
Literally hate you.
Skin became different colors. He was suntan. He was really sun.
Anyway, we're joined today by Lindsay. Lindsay, are you on the line, please?
Yes, I am here.
Perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. How's everything going for you?
It's going good. How about y'all?
Pretty good. Not too bad. We're settling in here for a little show here to talk some Disney Moms panel, and it's a subject that Terrence and I are very passionate about. I would say oddly passionate about. I don't think it's rational to be this passionate about something that I don't know. The Disney Moms panel. It just seems like
to
a
elude
weird.
you?
Yeah, it continues to elude me.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys are not the only ones. It is quite obsession for quite a few people, and I did not realize that when I initially applied, and I think I'm kind of thankful that I wasn't aware because I think I would have been way more intimidated and way more scared going in. I was naive, and it was kind of nice going in.
Well, when did you apply?
So I became aware of the Moms panel kind of indirectly when I first started doing some Disney races, and I would Google questions. And I would see Lori and Faith's answers, and they were the Run Disney Moms before me, and I was kind of not even aware that this was a thing. I was just referencing it when it would pop up on Google. And so then I saw the ad in the summer of 2016 on Facebook, actually, and I bookmarked the date in my calendar to go back and check it out. And so I went on the day it opened. I applied within maybe 10 or 15 minutes, submitted it, and kind of forgot about it.
Okay.
And then it was 2 weeks later that I got the email about round 2.
Ooh.
And so I realized, like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, I kind of just submitted it on a whim. And so once I made it into round 2, then I started Googling a little bit to see how many people apply to this. What are the odds of getting it? And that's when I was totally overwhelmed and excited. But the expression comparison is the thief of joy. That definitely kind of came out there.
Wow.
Because I started. I found the Facebook groups. For those that aren't aware, there are Facebook groups out there with hopefuls, and it is honestly the most awesome bunch of people you'll find on Facebook. You find horrible people on Facebook, and that is not what these groups are. Everyone is so supportive. Everyone is so nice. And so I found these groups, and I started seeing, like, okay, who's made it to round 2? And so I'm looking at women who have done, like, 35 run Disney races, have, like, literally over 100 medals. And I was like, oh, that was nice to make it to round 2. Like, that was good job. But I kind of thought it was going to be over after that point. And round 2 includes a video submission. And I've never filmed myself. I've never been on camera. I've never done YouTube videos or anything like that. So trying to record a video of myself was terrifying. And you realize very quickly that you think your voice is like the most annoying thing in the world. So I submitted round 2, and then again, kind of just trying not to think about it, but it was kind of, like Steph said, it's an obsession at that point, and you're wanting to know, and you have no idea when the next date's going to be, and when I found out about round 3.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I think I was, like I said, I think I was really lucky going in kind of naive, because it wasn't, I just felt like I was kind of putting myself out there, and this is me, and I wasn't trying to be something I wasn't, because I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know what they were looking for per se.
So you weren't trying hard, essentially, is kind of what I'm.
No.
Well, no, I mean, as far as trying to. Well, I guess you said trying to be something that you're not, and to me that means trying hard, right? Like you're really trying too hard. You're overcompensating because you're doing what you think they want rather than being yourself.
Absolutely. And I see people, I mean, they get their hearts broken over, and I know people want a reason. People will start asking, well, what exactly did you say for this? And what exactly did you say for this? And it's really not even necessarily the words you say. I think they're just looking year to year, personality types. They've got different things they've got to fill, and you never know from year to year what they're looking for, so don't try and be anyone but yourself when you go into it.
So you said you did research. Do you know how many people apply for this program?
The Disney official answer will always be thousands and thousands.
Of course, right.
It is an overwhelming number, and I told friends that I've made throughout the panel that are still applying, I've told them it's a numbers game. So if you don't make it from round 1 to round 2, it's a numbers game. Don't take it personally. It's not that they didn't like you. It is thousands and thousands of applications, and it's just, it's a numbers game, and it's luck, really.
Yeah, because I have to believe, I mean, my personality is stellar. Stellar, Lindsay, right? So, no, but I would have to think that they get, let's say, 5,000 submissions, which I honestly think is on the low end.
Yeah.
For this.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say they get 5,000. They could potentially already have the amount of people that they want to fill in the first 500.
Yeah.
And they never even see the leftover 4,500. They just never get to them.
Right.
Because
I will tell you this I can tell you, every single application is read.
Really?
Oh, wow.
By a human being,
Every
not like
single
AI?
one.
Right?
By a human person, every single application is read. So don't ever feel like you're submitting it and it's going into a computer. A lot of people think it's going into a computer that's filtering out that if I said Cinderella's castle instead of Cinderella, oh, that's why. Every single one is read by a person, so don't ever feel like you are wasting your time submitting. Submit, give it a shot, because it will be read.
Did you ever meet the people who review those?
Yeah, so it's the admin team who kind of runs the panel for us.
Okay.
So it's the people that are there at training, it's the people you're working, kind of contacting throughout the year when you have questions and stuff like that. It's that team.
How many people are on that team? Roughly.
I'm trying to think. I don't know that every one of them read every single round, so I'm not even exactly sure. But I know the entire team is probably roughly, I'd say, 10 people or so.
So
They
you
might bring in others. I'm not. I'm honestly not sure of that.
Yeah, and
we're still, even kind of once you're on the inside, you're still a little blind to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's Disney, right? They have inner workings that they don't necessarily need to. I mean, you don't need to know, right? So they're not going to tell you. But I guess the point for that was, can you imagine being on that? Like, how many submissions do you personally read? Let's say, Terrence. Let's say you were on that admin panel, and you read 500. I don't know, even 100.
That's a
even
lot.
100 people answering the same question, essentially the same way. How do you choose somebody based on their personality in a paragraph?
It's a canned answer. Basically. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, and I think that what probably put Lindsay aside from everyone else is the fact that she went into it without thinking too hard about it, without over-analyzing what Disney would want to hear. So that probably is what I'm guessing, that's what set her apart, is that it was her voice instead of Disney's voice.
Well, speaking of someone who's made it to the final round.
Oh, my God.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. But no,
what are you, the Tom Brady now?
Yes, yeah. I made it right there to the goal line.
And then you dropped the ball.
I dropped the ball. But no, I mean, and I think that you and I both have seen this as well. People who've made it but haven't made it all the way.
Right.
Is that first round? It is. I mean, you're personally. I know I'm overthinking it. You know, they're saying where's the best place to go for a little bit of break in the park, and I'm not going to say go to Jolly Holiday Cafe or something, because I feel like everyone. It's like categories. Like everyone's going to say that, so you have to think of something way out of the box. And
literally never played categories.
Really?
Yeah, that was the most irrelevant analogy I've ever heard in my entire life.
Okay. Anyway, so you try to think of something that's way outside of the box, and a lot of times maybe it's so outside of the box they're like, whatever. Like it's not even good advice. So I don't know. What I really want, I want Lindsay just to send us the answers that she gave, and I want to copy. I want to cheat off of you, Lindsay. That's what I want.
Lindsay, what do you think about what Terrence said? Not the cheating part, of course, because winners don't cheat. That's why Tom Brady lost. But about what Terrence said about the trying too hard to find that answer, right? Is there a benefit maybe to just saying what you think everyone? I mean, not even saying what you think it's going to happen, just what you would do personally.
Because I don't necessarily have an insider, I can't tell you exactly what they're looking for, but I would say go with what your gut is. So when you read that question, the first thing that pops into your head is what I would go with. Honestly, but that's just my personal opinion, and that's kind of what I did. And so, but I wouldn't, if they're asking, hey, what's something new to do in the parks this year? Maybe don't say that one gigantic thing that everyone's maybe saying Pandora, the world of Avatar, would not be the best answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you read the question, you have some kind of personal attachment to it, go with that. I know because a lot of my questions, because I applied as the Run Disney Mom, all of my questions were run-based. And so I spoke a lot about that turn down Main Street when it's still dark, and I tear up every time I've done that. I don't know how many runs and I still tear up. And I talked about that moment. And so I think that just that natural, true Disney love, make that come out. And if it's what you think is an obvious answer, I would still roll with it because it's what your gut said to do.
Okay. All right. So you're on the panel. You've been accepted in the world the kimono has been opened into the world of the Disney moms, right? And so what happens? You get a trip to Disney World, I think, and what kind of other cool stuff happens to you?
So we had our training dates from round one. They give you the dates and just make sure before you apply that you can go on these dates. And so we had our dates laid out, and we had nothing beforehand. We we have a Facebook group chat that we kind of stay in contact constantly in my class, and we were just stressing out. We had no idea what to pack. We didn't know if we should be doing business casual or should we be doing jeans, should we be doing park attire. We had no clue. So I can tell you every single one of us way overpacked for our training trip. But we did have a training trip. It was December 8th through 12th, and we went to Walt Disney World. We stayed at Disney's Grand Floridian, and sorry, seeing the question. I'd say it's about 50-50 classroom training and kind of being in the parks and doing hands-on kind of things. The big emphasis every year for training is kind of, like I said, what's coming up new in the parks that we might not have personal experience with to answer questions, but that we're going to get questions on. We had so many questions on Pandora before it opened and what the rides were going to be like, and we had no idea because we didn't get to see it beforehand. We got to see the model that you've seen, but that was about it. And we kind of got the same kind of coy answers of, well, what's this ride going to be like? And the Disney answer of, well, it's going to be like riding on a banshee, but we didn't get any of the specific details. So they're kind of trying to give you an idea of what's going to be coming up, what's changing in the parks. We had some information on like dining plans and allergies and accommodations and just things that probably individually one of us had experience with, but not everyone had experience with. So they kind of gave us a little training on that.
Okay, so they kind of make you all just kind of well-rounded Disney question answerers.
Yeah, exactly. And the big thing with stress, and this is probably one of the more challenging things with answering questions, is it's always our personal experience, and it's what we feel like you should do in the parks or something like that, but we will always give a Disney official answer. And so that's kind of the tricky part is we get questions a lot where, like the mom, the child's turning 3 the day before they leave for their trip.
Okay.
And do I need to buy a ticket? The Disney official answer is yes, your child is 3, you need to buy a ticket. But you know what I mean? And so that's the only tricky part is we're giving you our honest opinions and our answers, but it will be the Disney official answer.
Now, do you email that person who wrote in? Do you email them from your separate account? Like, look, no one's going to ask for a birth certificate, so just save yourself $150 a day.
We wish we could, but we can't. And we get those questions, and those are probably the hardest ones. Is that
yeah, it's
some of the harder ones is that you kind of feel for the person because they're being honest and they're being truthful and they want to do the right thing, but you're just like, just don't ask.
Can you not respond to some questions, or can you just pass them on to somebody else? Like, you deal with this one.
That will happen. So when you go into the queue, you'll see every question that's asked, and you can kind of. They want you to answer with what you have personal experience. Now, if no one has personal experience, someone's got to take one for the team and kind of do the research and do the digging. But they really do want us to answer with what we have personal experience, what we don't necessarily need to be Googling and looking into because we've done it ourselves.
Okay.
Got it. So when they take you around the park to show you stuff, is it like private tour, or are you just in the front of the house, I guess, for lack of a better term, taking notes and kind of talking? Do you get to go backstage at all and kind of in a quieter zone and learn a little bit more about what you're going to be talking about there?
We did get to do quite a bit backstage, but the rules applied for us just like they do for cast members. We're not supposed to take pictures back there. Nothing like that goes on social media. I know the team had some trouble planning training for the newer class because my class was way overshared on social media. Everything was on an Instagram story. Everything was on Facebook. And so when they came to plan for the new class, they were like, well, we have to start from scratch because we didn't, you know what I mean? They wanted there to still be surprises and cool new stuff for them to do, and we had way overshared.
So you guys blew it for everybody. I'm sorry? You blew it for everybody. You like released the crib notes for the test, and then so the teacher had them redo the test.
We kind of did. Yeah. So
that's cool. I mean,
we noticed as we're kind of stalking along with the newer class, like, oh, what are they getting to do? Oh, are they getting any insight on this? There was a little bit more of a curtain this year because I think that it's just going to be a struggle for them. They can't keep training super exciting if everything's on social media.
So you're saying,
but we did get to do some behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
So you said you were along with the new class this time as well?
No, I think she means on social, like in the
No, sorry.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay.
Following along with them on social media. Yeah, we just noticed. But I mean, we became a lot of the people that made this year's panel were in round 3 with me last year. And so we kind of made a smaller round 3 group and would chat about like the interviews and what was going on. So we kind of knew each other a lot. I actually shared a room at D23 with one of the girls. I had only met her on Facebook. And she's on the panel. She's on the new panel this year. So.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I would feel comfortable sharing a room with someone I met on Facebook if they were essentially vetted for me by Disney.
Right.
Because you know that person's not going to be wearing your hair as a wig or anything weird's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because they're vetted by Disney. It's fine.
Yeah, we met up in downtown Disney, and I remember just thinking, I had a girlfriend from home with me, and then we were meeting up with her, and I remember just saying, like, I really hope she's just, like, normal as she is online. I hope she totally was. And we started chatting like we had known each other forever. And so,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but
she had a shirt on that said "I love Lindsay."
Single white female.
You gotta be skin.
I did my hair like yours.
She's actually the Disneyland mom this year, so she would be answering questions for people that kind of tune into you often.
Cool.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So what was the coolest thing that you saw in your training? Because training's at Disney World, right?
Yes.
For
training
everybody.
is at Disney World.
Okay.
Yes, for everyone.
What was the coolest thing that you saw?
Probably I have 2 things that stick out in my head. One was our first night there. We were in Epcot, and the dinner that night for us, they catered in from all of the pavilions. So it was like a buffet of Chinese food and Italian food and Japanese food, and it was so cool because we got to eat all the way around the world at Epcot in one sitting.
And you didn't have to move.
So that was just really cool and something you don't get to do often. And we had a really cool point of view. We were above the American Adventure, kind of like in a suite room they have up there. Mm-hmm. And it was just a really cool view of Epcot you don't get to get often. And then we did get to see the mountains of Pandora from backstage when things were still under construction. That was one of the things. There was no pictures, no social media, but just getting to see that was really cool because the floating mountains were something that kind of everyone was wondering, how are they going to do this? How are they going to accomplish this? Because you kept seeing it kind of out there as one of the big feats of the land. And then my favorite memory from training was we were given free time to just kind of go into the parks as a class and enjoy our free time. And one night a whole class got on Big Thunder Mountain, and it was, you know how you always see the Disney commercials and Mickey's just out walking around, and that doesn't happen. It's kind of just there for the commercial magic moment. We were on Big Thunder Mountain, though, and the fireworks were going off like a commercial.
Wow.
And it was we were all on one train, and it was as we were going over the hills, you were seeing them explode. It was like a commercial, and it was the coolest moment, and we got off, and we all realized, oh my gosh, if this is real life, we're really going to do this. It was just really cool.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Taryn had a question. Go ahead.
Oh, just to backtrack for a half a second, I was just curious when they did the buffet of the whole Epcot.
Weird
Atta
about
girl.
food, yeah.
But I'm just really curious, like, of this process. Was there alcohol? Did they serve alcohol with that, or is it just food?
We did have alcohol that night.
There we go.
We just had it wasn't necessarily the drinks from around the world though. It was just like a bartender in there, and we could kind of order wine or beer. And
Did
I
anyone get
remember being
sloppy?
a little nervous to drink because you're like, are you supposed to drink? Is
Yeah.
it frowned upon to drink? But
Right.
then everyone was like, we're in Disney. Like, we're without our kids. Let's get wine.
Nice. Well, that's another question I have. So you guys are there for what, 3 to 4 days, or 4 days, right, for training? Do you really have enough time? Go ahead.
Sorry, keep going.
So
I was going to say, yeah, it was 4 nights, 5 days.
okay, so in 4 nights, 5 days, is it like a summer camp thing where you guys are best friends by the end of the trip, or is
You
it
cry
one
when you leave.
Right, or is it one of those things where it's like, okay, out of these 12 people or 15 people I'm on the panel with, there's like 2 that I actually remember and still am in contact with at the end of the trip?
Oh gosh, no. My entire class is in contact constantly. Like every single, we have a Facebook messenger because we've got some moms in Canada and our dad's Canadian, and then we have a mom in Brazil, so we can't do text messages because it would
Yes.
everyone's bill would be ridiculous. So we just use Facebook Messenger, and I am not joking. I would say maybe 20 minutes max, besides us sleeping, is the only time that combo is not going off.
Wow.
Yeah, we are in constant contact.
So okay, so then
Yeah.
another question to go on along with that then. So you guys are in constant contact, and I've heard you say the word class multiple times regarding the group of people. So you have training for 4 days is right before the turn of the year, and then you have 365 days on as a panelist. Is there any kind of class or any further training that happens over the course of the year? And then also, if you have to answer the questions in the quote-unquote Disney way, is there someone who's kind of monitoring what the answers are that you're giving and coming back to you if you don't answer them, in the right way?
Okay, so the classroom, sorry, I'm hearing kind of an echo with you guys a little bit, but the classroom kind of comes from like the group that comes in every year. So I'll be the class of 17. The class coming in this year is class of 18, and that's kind of how you identify yourself with the alumni panelists. So we've also got, it's not just my class I've gotten to know through this, it's kind of all 150 people that have ever been a panelist in the past 10 years. So that's kind of how we identify ourselves. I'm part of the class of 17, and I've become really good friends with a lot of people that were in the class of 14, and so that's kind of how we look at ourselves. And the entire panel every year will be the full class for that year, plus some alumni. So you'll have the full class of 18 right now, and then you'll have some from 17, some from 14, some from 09, and so that's kind of where the class terminology comes from.
Ah, got it.
And then throughout the year, we will get updates with like big changes in like process or policy or something like that. We get a newsletter that kind of updates us on that. But as far as our questions being monitored, they are not. There are, other than, there is someone who monitors to make sure we're not going out there and like throwing out curse words, but it's not someone that necessarily knows Disney to know if we're answering the question right or not. And so we will get questions pulled. I know like people have answered questions and the policy changes like a week later because it's Disney, and they'll go to the admins and say, hey, I answered this 2 weeks ago. It's not right anymore. Can you pull it? And so they can pull the question. But a lot of times it's us kind of offering up our question of, hey, this is out there and we don't want it to be anymore. Can you take it down?
Got it.
Okay, that makes sense.
That does make sense. Okay, let me talk about probably the problem that I have with being a Disney Moms panelist is the Disney format, answering questions. Because
I'm reading them right now, and I hate it.
I know, and it's kind of so do I. To be complete, I mean, this is
Sorry.
an honest show. This is
is.
a safe space. Terrence just totally glared at Beverly
He
for
did.
saying
No,
that.
I'm literally reading them. I'm like, there's just so many words.
Yeah, and so I was saying before the show that I want just me. My brain works better when I get the answer. Here's my question, and here's the answer. But for me, the hard part is you go through like. This gal is saying, "Hey, we're flying into I don't know somewhere. A flight arrives after 10 p.m. And I read they don't offer services for luggage. Blah blah blah." And the answer is, "Hi, Elizabeth. There's just 1 week left until you arrive for your magical Walt Disney World Resort vacation. Are you counting down the minutes? I would be." And I just it hurts my brain to do that. So is there some sort of training in that regard where they tell you, hey, you should put some personality in before you get to the answer to kind of endear everybody to the Moms panel?
A lot of that will just be the individual panelists. Some panelists are very punny, and they
Everyone loves a
will
pun.
slip in. Yeah. Some panelists are just very direct, like this is the answer, this is. And it honestly just kind of depends on who gets your question.
Okay.
We try to find that balance of putting in like a little bit of the like Disney magic and a little bit of the like glitter and sparkle of the question, but understanding that everyone is as obsessed with Disney as we are, and some people are going to be turned off by it. So trying to kind of find that balance, because some people read it and they love that stuff, and other people don't, and they totally roll their eyes. And so you're kind of trying to find that balance as a panelist, but it's not necessarily something that we're instructed to do. We're pretty much just told address the guest direct by name and then close with your name.
See, and because that's what I've been doing with the panel thing. I'll go look at the questions that have already been answered that you guys have put up, and I'll try to I'll try to put my answer when I'm doing the audition, I guess, into that kind of cookie cutter mold, because that's what I think that they want to hear. But it turns out, Terrence, that I don't need to do that. That I can just be myself, and maybe people will like
You do
grouchy.
have a really great personality.
I know.
I have an amazing personality.
Well, and that's the problem too, is that they have like a 200 character max response, and by the time I'm done with, "Hi there, so and so. I hope that you're going to have a great time at Disneyland." I have like 3 words left. I'm like,
Congratulations on
try
celebrating
Dorothy.
your 32nd anniversary.
Yeah, 32 years is a long time. I remember when I turned 32, I was wearing a suit and tie, and I went out to this restaurant, and it was really good.
And I wish I had gone to Disneyland instead. Here, answer. Out of characters.
Actually, sir, I was asking about renting strollers.
Yeah, with those like 200-word limits, I would not waste a single word that you don't need to.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, that's just who they are, and it comes across naturally. I think if it's not you and you're trying to do it, it's going to be evident. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and that's probably when you were at dinner hanging out for training. Were people? Did you ask one of your roommates? Hey, do you guys want to go to Spaceship Earth? Well, hey, thank you, Lindsay, for your opportunity to go to Spaceship Earth. I love Epic, and they're just like, because I imagine that's how some people just are in person,
Yeah.
and I would die if I asked someone a question in real life and they gave me these answers in real, like face to face in real life.
that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Actually,
I
it
would
would
just
be.
like stand there and just like.
We should shoot a video. That'd be a good funny video.
If someone's like, "Hey, do you know which way is
I
the
mean,
car?" Yeah,
I was thinking you all get together and you're like all Disney fanatics, and I think for most of us, our spouse doesn't share that. They kind of tolerate our Disney obsession. So when you get us all together and we're all mutually like Disney obsessed,
Yeah.
like it does kind of get that like over the top cheesy just because you like with your people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. That's funny.
that would be.
But I will say that the only thing, kind of going back to like what Disney instructs us and what they don't,
Yeah.
you will hear like over and over and over nomenclature. That really is the only thing that we are instructed is like make sure you're using the right word for something.
Right,
like-
like Disney Vacation Club Resort.
I see.
Yeah, or don't call it like the teacup ride. You know what I mean?
Right. So
That's the only kind of instruction we're given.
do you have like is there a boss who is kind of like checking over you guys, or, you know, reading your answers, and does anybody get
Like,
reprimanded?
Is it mediated?
Yeah. Or is it just you guys are on your own after training?
No, so there is someone who, within Disney, it is her job to run the moms panel.
Oh, okay.
And she does other things in addition to that, a lot of like social media involvement, but under her umbrella is the moms panel, and she's the one who runs like the whole group.
Okay.
I will tell you, she does not read all of our answers by any means.
Right.
Well,
you guys are doing, what, 18 answers a day each or something like that?
No, so the contract can kind of change from year to year. For us personally, it was 15 questions a week.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's not bad at all.
I was wondering if there was a quota like you have to make.
Yeah, and how many people are on the panel at a time, or for a year, I guess?
I think my year was 37. I could be wrong on that answer, but it was in the 30s.
Can you imagine?
Out of several thousand.
Oh my God, for sure.
37.
But like 15 questions a week each times 37. That's math. That's a lot of questions to answer and like comb over. It kind of goes back to like all the entrants. Like you can't. I would assume you can't read them all, and I think that's why a lot of people are broken like me mentally and think that they just all these things go into some AI thing and get scanned for keywords, because who can I think an average person would break down reading the same thing kind of over and over again, but just in different formats. I'm sorry to whoever read mine. I'm sorry to whoever read mine, because it was probably too amazing.
Yeah,
They're
right.
You broke them. They're mind blown.
It's it's like Future, the rapper. He's too ahead of his time, right?
Oh, wow.
That's me. In 5 years, they're gonna go. No. So you're not doing the panel anymore, right? You're not answering questions. You're done. You fulfilled your contract and stuff like that.
I am. So I did 1 year on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
You're eligible to come back for a second year. After 2 years, you have to take a year off. But then you can kind of get invited back at any time.
Oh,
I did not come back this year because Run Disney was reduced on the panel site. So it kind of used to be its own category. With them not having West Coast races anymore, Run Disney was kind of cut in half. And so they kind of just rolled it into Walt Disney World. So it's not its own category.
And
yeah, which was very sad for us, because we just did our Run Disney, our first run last year, and we were kind of pumped for it.
yeah, I know. It's kind of. I
I
mean, I don't
know,
run, but
because I listened to that podcast as well, and I remember being so bummed because you guys were like really excited about it and kind of getting on board, and then it just stopped.
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to blow up, downtown Disney, so I guess you can't. I don't know. There's no way to do it.
Running through a minefield kind of a thing. That'd be pretty awesome.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I did raise my hand.
She can't see you. But go on.
Right. When you say you were eligible to come back, does that mean you had to go through the application process all over again, or you just could be like, hey, I want to come back, and they just let you back on the panel?
Yeah, it was just kind of like an informal, are you interested or not? It's not the whole application process, and they're just looking at the past alumni.
That makes a lot of sense, because I was looking at the Disney Moms panel thing today, and I'm like, wait a minute, that person was on last year. How are they still on? So here's the other question. If they're letting so many people back on, is that why Jason and I aren't getting on? Is there not enough room for us now?
That's got to be what it is.
Right?
Lindsay, you don't have to answer it. I'll answer it for you. That's got to be exactly what it is, and that's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
Actually, a better question would be, do the people who get to stay on for another year, or agree to, I guess, get to go back to Disney World with a free trip?
For training.
Go ahead and answer
They
that
do.
quickly.
So they will. So they don't get training again. That is kind of what our contract is, though, is we get to come for training, and then you get to come for your reward trip.
Okay.
So they will get another reward trip this year.
Wow.
That's cool.
Sign me up. I will never say no.
Call me Senator Terrence, because I'll never be off that panel.
Is the reward
Yeah, and I think that how most of the alumni are is kind of how we were talking earlier about, it's just 15 questions. I will tell you guys, it is more of a time commitment than I think anyone in my class realized coming in. But we wouldn't change that, and we still sign up for it again.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's kind of how the vast majority of the alumni bunch is like, sign me up tomorrow, I will come back.
Can you opt out of staying at the Grand Floridian and stay at the Poly instead? Because that's more of my jam than the Floridian.
Yeah, so the Grand Floridian is for training. When you come back for your reward trip, you can kind of work with the agent who's booking the reward trip and let them know like what your preference for dates and
I thought it was the
hotels
same.
and stuff
I thought
is.
it was the same thing. So I see what you're saying. So it's the same dates as the training, but you don't go through training because you already did it. So you're just along for the ride, kind of thing, right?
No, I'm sorry. No, so you get to elect when you want to come back for your reward trip.
And is that just for you, or can your family come with you?
So it's for 4 people. So if you have a family of 5, you are kind of paying for that 5th person, which we have one mom who has 3 kids, and that's what she did.
Huh.
Because my son is not 3 yet, he doesn't count as a person. So me and my husband came, plus my parents. So there was 5 of us, but we didn't have to pay anything extra because he
That's
doesn't
awesome.
count.
Go ahead, Terrence.
So by the time it rolls around next time,
Yes.
my youngest will be 3, which means I would have to pay for her. So we're
I think
making
your youngest is 2.
No, she'll be 3 by the time we can.
I think she's 2.
She's 2 right now. She'll be 3.
Well,
I know.
Terrence.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't. If I'm trying to be a panelist, I'm going to be honest. So, so we have to make a pact right now that if any of us make it,
Yeah.
this is the group going.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right.
Put your hand in.
Yes.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Here we go.
Sam doesn't want to go anyway.
Whoa, Bundy.
Oh, Bundy.
So you go for you get. I guess I'm confused. You get 2 trips. You get a reward trip and a training
Yeah.
trip.
Yes.
So your initial year on the panel, you'll get 2 trips. You get a training trip and then your reward trip.
Oh, my
If you come back in later years, you're just getting your reward trip. You brought up Polynesian. That's actually where I stayed on my reward trip. So
That's the place. Here's what I would do. Here any future moms panelists that I'm going to say win because it's a contest.
It's a contest.
Okay. Plan your reward trip concurrent with your training.
Why?
Because then you get 8 days or like 10 days. You don't have to fly back and forth. It's fine.
That's a good
You just
point.
stay there, and you get free airfare. Do you get free airfare for your training?
your airfare is included, yes.
Bam. Wow.
What class are we talking here?
Chartered.
Luggage.
Crap.
Yeah.
Speaking of luggage,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually scheduled my reward trip to kind of coincide with Wine and Dine Half Marathon. And so it's like, well, since the trip's going to be paid for, I'll do a race while I'm there.
Yeah.
And so my family actually flew in on Halloween, and we did the last Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and then stayed through the weekend. And
so
I did
cool.
2 races, and my son did the kids' race. And so we got a lot done in that trip. It was a lot of fun.
okay, so let's talk about benefits. So
We already did.
Yeah.
no,
2 free trips to Disney World, homie.
but more as well.
All
I mean,
right.
you get
More
2,
is more.
You get 2 free trips, but this is a volunteer position. So besides the 2 free trips, what else do you get?
It's not enough
So-
for 2.
Jeez, yeah. What more do
I'm
you
just
want?
asking. I'm trying to cover all the bases.
So our trip did include, so you'll get the 5 days park admission. I'm trying to remember now if it was 4 nights or 5 nights. And then we also get something to kind of cover our food and extra stuff we want to do while we're there. So the trip is kind of what you get out of that year of serving. But you are also eligible for other things, and it's not necessarily, it shouldn't be something that you expect, but I was brought up 2 other times as part of the panel. And that's not necessarily something that everyone's guaranteed, and it kind of, you don't really know what they're trying to fill when they're bringing people out. And so for people that are applying, don't apply expecting that you're going to get like 4 trips to Disney, because it's not the norm. But I was brought out one other time to do kind of some promo videos for Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that.
Nice.
And then in June, when they opened up Pandora.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
So if we get on the panel this year, Terrence, Star Wars Land,
Yes.
we can get, quote, brought out to Disneyland.
I know.
It's fine. They can pay
I
for
know
themselves.
so many of our panelists are like pitching for 2019
Oh my
for
God.
Star Wars.
Of course.
And I'm not a Star Wars person. So I'm like, so,
It's all right.
but
To each their own.
Yeah.
yeah, I joke. I'm really excited for Star Wars Land to open, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, because it's gonna like make other parts of the parks less crowded.
Yep.
That's true.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Well, Lindsay,
Yeah,
you've
it's
been
probably just gonna be all
great.
nightmare, but
Oh, Terrence has one more question.
So
Sorry, go
I
ahead.
do have one more question. So you were on the panel, you opted off the panel, you've been part of Disney Videos, you've done all of this, but you're no longer officially affiliated with Disney. So what now? Like, do they still contact you for possibly helping with different things, or is it just a thank you for being a part of it, we'll see you later?
so you can, like I said, you can kind of get brought back in any later year. But the official panel duties have wrapped. There is still a Mom's Panel reunion that is done every year, and it's not Disney affiliated. It's not paid by Disney, but it's just a lot of panelists will go. They kind of organize dinners, and there's like a scavenger hunt. So that's kind of what I'm still doing with the panel, is looking forward to reunion. But it's nothing official, and you're just kind of, I mean, once a panelist, you're always a panelist, and you've got the other panelists that you're friends with, wherever. But you are just kind of, once you've served your year, it's like, hey, thanks, you did a great job, and maybe you'll come back another year, maybe you won't, you really don't know.
Okay.
Very cool. All right, Lindsay, we're going to let you go, but we do have our world famous, internationally known, which is not a lie because we have international listeners.
We do.
Our internationally known Ears Up 7 questions. So if you wouldn't mind if we can bend your ear for a couple more minutes and ask you these very hard-hitting, very deeply psychologically penetrating questions. Is that all right with you?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Number 1. What is your favorite Disney attraction?
It is. So this is actually a question we got asked in our round 3 interview, and I totally lied. I went with the first thing that came to my head, which was Peter Pan, because it was the ride I had just taken the attraction I had just taken my son on. But my true favorite attraction is Haunted Mansion Holiday. It's
All
like
right.
by far my favorite.
So
My son's name is Jack. I'm a big Nightmare Before Christmas
nice.
fan, and so I just love when they do that overlay.
So we're going to call this show Disney Mom's Panel Lindsay Liar.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No.
And I totally told the admin after the fact too.
my God.
Like during training, I was like, "You guys asked us this question, and I totally didn't give you the right answer."
That was a liar. I lied. I'm sorry. Did they make you sing the Mickey Mouse song 5 times? Like Hail Mary?
Yeah.
What is your least favorite Disney attraction?
I cannot stand Dinosaur at Walt Disney World. And
We didn't know
everyone makes fun of me for it because I love Indiana Jones and they're pretty much the same ride system.
Right.
I think it's the actual dinosaurs. I find that ride to be absolutely terrifying for some reason.
Okay. All right.
That's by far my least favorite.
Fair enough. Pie-eyed Mickey or round-eyed Mickey? Which is best?
I'm going to go round-eyed.
Okay. All right. The not often chosen round-eyed Mickey. Very interesting. We're going to give you your results at the end. What old ride or attraction should they bring back to the parks?
I wish they would bring the People Mover back to Disneyland.
Yes, of course, of course. I should have answered that for you because it's the only choice. What current ride?
It is.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it is because I always go for Run Disney races and my legs are exhausted by the end of the day. So sitting on the People Mover is like my favorite thing to do at the end of the night, and I think it's so underrated. And I wish I could do that on the West Coast.
Agreed. Taryn and I rode it, I think, like 3 times in a row because there's nobody ever on it, and it's really chill. What current ride should they remove?
Let me think about this. I'm probably going to get backlash for this, and I don't know if it really counts as a ride. I'm not a fan of the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't
know if that really counts as a ride.
Yeah, an attraction.
Attraction, sure.
And
yeah.
like I said, this goes back to the fact that I'm usually running, and so my legs are sore, and I just think the steps, and I've never seen the movie, so I just don't get anything out of it.
No, I don't like it either, but that's because I'm lazy.
So you're conditioned. It's painful for you to go up that thing. I get it. Who is your favorite Disney character?
I love Sleeping Beauty. She's always been my favorite princess because I think she gets like all the glory of being a princess, and she just gets to sleep through her whole movie. And so
that's a good lifestyle, man. If you can get a good gig, if you can get it. And then finally, if you could travel back in time and meet Walt Disney, what would you tell him?
I think I would just tell him thank you. I know he was a really ambitious man that had all these amazing ideas. I don't think he ever had any idea the impact that he would have on people for so long.
Agreed.
And I mean, Disney's just a huge part of my life and the friends I have and raising my son now. And I think I would just tell him thank you. Probably give him a hug if he wasn't good job by that.
It didn't smell like an ashtray and Tom and Jerry's Scotch mists.
Yes. Delightful.
Lindsay, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us here about the Disney Moms panel. And hey, let us know if you need some spots filled when you go back on for your reward trip and your family is sick or something. We'll fill it.
Or they're just kind of over it.
I will, and I just wanted to tell you guys a quick story of how I actually found out about you guys because I think it's funny.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I had signed up to do Dopey, and I knew I was not going to get through like 5 hours of running with music, and so I kind of got into podcasts. But I was actually at Disneyland for the D23 Expo, and I saw someone, we were about to watch Fantasmic, and they were wearing your churro shirt.
Oh.
And I went up to them, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed with your shirt. Where did you get that? And so they started talking to me about you guys, and that's actually how I found out about you guys.
Oh,
so,
that's
That's awesome.
Gotta love it, man.
I thought that
Gotta
was
love
pretty
that
cool.
shirt.
My
Yeah.
friend, I'm a Dole Whip fan. Jason, I think you're not, right? So
No, I'm not right.
The friend I was there with was, she's the churro fanatic, and so
Nice.
I was like, she's like, I need that shirt. I was like, I'll go ask her where she got it. So
No, I've said that before. My opinions are quite often wrong in the grand scheme of life, but you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right.
well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you, and good luck if you go on again. So, yeah, well, never mind. I'm going to keep going with the conversation. I gotta stop it.
Wrap it up.
Because we told you about 15 or 20 minutes, and it's been about 50. So it's kind of what we do. But anyway, Lindsay, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. That was cool, dude.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
I really want this.
Because
I really want it.
literally never been clearer that this is not something I'm cut out for.
Well, that's
Oh my
true.
gosh, Beverly. You'd be the first person fired from the Disney Moms panel.
From a volunteer
From a volunteer position.
Oh my God,
love
dude, I
how
would be
even,
too.
Even just talking like casually, she would correct herself. Like she said,
Yeah.
she was like rides, attractions.
Attractions,
I was
yeah.
like, oh wow, she's
She's
trained.
conditioned.
It's like a Starbucks employee.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is. I think it's cool. I'm glad that we had her on.
Yeah.
But I've never wanted to be on the panel more than I do right now.
You get
Never
two
wanna be on
free
less.
trips to
Free
Disney
trips.
World, homie.
But
Come
I wonder
on.
if one's a free trip to Disney World for training, and then if you could possibly do either Disney World or Disneyland, depending on where you are for the
Are
other
you
one.
saying that you
Why would you do Disneyland?
No.
Thank you, Taryn.
No, I wouldn't. I'm saying that if someone has gone to Disney World like 50 times,
Oh.
maybe they'll want to go to Disneyland.
It sounds like you
like
can
you
work
choose.
with them.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to go to Disneyland Paris then.
Shanghai.
Yeah, I think that might
Hell
open a
no.
giant door.
Are you don't want to go to
I
Shanghai?
don't need to go to China, bro.
I'm
You
just,
can go to Walmart. You can go to China. It's the same thing.
Oh my! Continue with Disney news or
Sorry.
whatever we're doing next.
All
That went downhill so
Not the secret
fast.
show.
I just meant because there's a lot of there's a lot of
Just you should stop.
ears new. I hate my computer. I need to get a new one, dude. I hate it. I hate it.
In regards to the moms panel, I've decided that if I were on the moms panel, all of my responses would be like, "Hi, so and so. Have you ever heard of Google?
It's a really great function that Disney's backing. It's really great. Try it now.
Try it. Leave me alone."
March in the past, present, and future with all the news that's fit to cover.
Hi, so-and-so.
The Ears Up Disney News.
Any Game of Thrones fans out there, you guys should know that the showrunners, which are the people who are in charge of kind of where the story goes for any given program, the showrunners for Game of Thrones have left Game of Thrones, and they have now been hired by the Disney company to do Star Wars.
Huh.
Really?
Yes. What do you think of that? David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, executive producers of Game of Thrones, will write and produce a series of new Star Wars movies, the Walt Disney Company said on Tuesday. There were no details about the number of movies or when they will be released, but Disney did say that the Benioff and Weiss films would be separate from the Luke Skywalker universe of movies and the trilogy that Rian Johnson, the writer and director of Star Wars The Last Jedi, is working on.
Well, you know why this is a great idea? Because there's not enough Star Wars.
I know.
I haven't-
more. like every year. Give me a
Like
new
they
movie.
shouldn't actually do any other movies.
No,
Just Star Wars.
I don't think
Ridiculous.
they are. The deal amounts to a coup for each party. Disney gets two extremely in-demand producers who have proved they can satisfy Game of Thrones book loyalists, along with drawing in millions of general viewers that make Game of Thrones the most popular show in HBO's history. And for the two producers, the Star Wars assignment could prove to be more welcoming than their planned HBO whatever, who cares? Blah, 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 blah.
Okay. Did you guys see the
Crazy, huh?
Did you guys see the Solo trailer
Yeah.
during the Super Bowl?
I saw like the trailer teaser, which it was kind of dumb. Actually, honestly, I didn't really understand what was happening until
Right.
I saw Beano, and I was like,
Yeah, I
"Oh, this
know.
is Star Wars." Okay, because it was so fast and rapid,
Yeah.
I
I
just didn't care.
I honestly didn't even know this was happening. Like, I'm outside of the Star Wars. I didn't watch the.
We've talked about this like
Well,
5
she was,
times.
I know, right?
she
This
was,
show.
she was
Yeah.
gone for
I
2
was-
episodes.
I
Sure,
was
you were
gone,
for a while.
yeah.
That's true.
We've also been talking about it for like 6 months.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
but
know.
I only listened to like every third word.
If I was smarter, I would know how to string a sentence together. To every third word would be important.
I was trying to figure that out right
Yeah.
there too.
I could tell from your eyes.
Guess what?
It's working.
I'm not smart. Disney is making more Star Wars TV shows, everybody, in case you thought there wasn't enough Star Wars. This is Star Wars centric news today, everybody. Shortly after Disney announced that Game of Thrones showrunners would be given the reins to a brand new Star Wars trilogy, Bob Iger revealed that the studio is also working on a few, quote-unquote, new Star Wars universe-set TV shows. Iger made the announcement to investors on Tuesday. We are developing not just one, but a few Star Wars series, specifically for the Disney direct-to-consumer app, which is that streaming thing that they've been talking about.
Right.
How do I stop this stupid thing, dude? Whatever. I hate this. Embedded videos that I don't care about on news sites. It's the bane of my radio existence. We mentioned that, and we are close to being able to reveal at least one of the entities that is developed. That for us, because the deal isn't completely closed, we can't be specific about it. I think you'll find the level of talent on television front will be rather significant as well.
Cool.
Yep.
I thought that in the last Disney news, there was an article about how they were going to actually pull away from
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Because of how terribly the last one did.
I think that was
Yeah.
merchandise
Oh.
specific.
oh.
They should do it everywhere.
So here,
It's
this
just
is
so saturated.
This article is Vanity Fair, and they say, let's dig into this for a moment. The coming Star Wars deluge now includes the next film in the core Skywalker trilogy, directed by J.J. Abrams, a series of prequel films, the next of which is Solo, which we were just talking about,
Right.
a new trilogy helmed by The Last Jedi filmmaker Rian Johnson, a new trilogy led by Benioff and Weiss, and now several new TV series. So we're going to have at least, 8 more Star Wars movies in the next 10 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Bored.
Yes, I
Bored.
completely agree.
Bored.
I'm over it. I'm completely over Star Wars at this point.
Yeah.
It actually makes me really sad for you guys, honestly.
Good,
because
it
like
should.
I think that
Makes me sad.
I'm gonna be real like sexist here, but like I feel like boys like
Hold on.
like your guys' age
Let me
like
get my
grew
hashtag
up
ready.
with. No, you guys grew up with Star Wars,
Yeah.
and
And it's something you really love,
And it's
like you're
sort of-
really invested in.
yeah, and I kind of feel like it's being destroyed bit by movie by movie.
It is, and one of the best things about it growing up is that we had to like the story because the movie was so cheesy. And so I really was invested in the characters and how they interacted and all this, and now it's like I don't care anymore. Like it's
Don't care.
Yeah, because the characters aren't as deep to me as they were back then. So now I'm like, I'm over it.
I think, and I've said this from basically from the start of the show, from anything we've ever talked about. For me, the allure of Star, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I do it kind of a lot, and I apologize. But for me, the allure of Star Wars, the first 3 movies, the original trilogy, is that you don't know the background, so your imagination can run wild. When they talk about the Kessel Run, in 14 parsecs or whatever it is, yeah. You don't know what the Kessel Run is.
That is.
Exactly, and that's to me that's the best part. I don't want to know what it is. I don't want to ever see it done in a movie format.
Right.
I want to think about it and go, "Wow, that's really cool." There's mystery involved, and now they're just blowing the smoke away and then going, "Oh, this is what it is," and it's never gonna live up to what it is in your mind. Just like when you read a book and then you watch the movie's never as good as the book because it's not your movie.
Right. No, you're right, and like you're absolutely right with the whole Darth Vader thing. Okay, he's Luke's dad, so this is just a jerk. But then they had a prequel where now you feel bad for the dude, and so like they're really blurring the lines. And I'm over it.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely over it.
I still haven't seen The Last Jedi.
It was a movie.
I've either heard it was awful or exactly what he said. It was a thing.
Yeah.
And that's all they want. They just want a thing because of the 6 billion people in the world. A third of them will see it.
Yeah.
I also
Because of
kind of
Star
feel
Wars.
like, so you had the first, what was it, 3, 4, 5? 4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Whatever. You had those. And then there was that huge break in between, and then you had 1, 2, and 3. And say what you will about those. I thought that they did those well in the sense of they made you wait for them. Like they weren't like
3
I
years.
agree.
like
3
1,
years.
2, 3. Like there was a nice break in between, so you had like anticipation. You wanted it to happen. Like now, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan anyhow, but I literally care. I care less than I did before.
But they're doing the same thing with these, where they're waiting 3 years in between.
But they're doing like 6 movies in between each
That's
one.
the problem.
that's
the problem.
exactly what I mean.
Is
Like,
that they
there's
have
no
standalone
mystery.
movies in between, and that's
And then now TV series that are going to come out. It's stupid. Let's get to something not stupid. A Space Mountain fan got the roller coaster's 87-year-old designer to ride it one last time at Disneyland
and then
Wait, is it sad
and
story?
busted
What- I
his
don't
back. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Because he's 87 years old. I barely get on that ride now, and I'm 40. I think something's going to happen. This guy has no fear. Let's see. Bill Watkins, who I think we've mentioned on the show when we did the history of Space Mountain, the guy who designed the ride at Space Mountain at Disneyland and was the first to take it. He was the first one to ride Space Mountain, the designer, which I feel like
Very
that's
cool.
your proof of concept. All right, Bill, you think it'll hold up?
Oh dear.
Strap your skinny butt in. Let's go.
but
His routine these days, he's 87. His routine these days consists of going to the grocery store, riding his bike around his Long Beach neighborhood, and keeping detailed notes of his thoughts and activities. Not much, he said, with characteristic brevity. But Watkins recently made a new friend, Kyle King, 29, who showed up at Watkins' condo as Watkins was carrying groceries. King once wrote an article about Watkins in the Long Beach Press-Telegram and had been a fan of Watkins' work for many years. When he was a teenager, still living with his parents in Bixby Knolls, King built a miniature Space Mountain in the living room.
Wow.
So when King heard that it had been 13 years since Watkins last rode Space Mountain, he got an idea. He would invite him to ride Space Mountain one last time.
and 87, that actually says.
And he unloaded, and this kid just put one right in the back of his head. No. This will probably be my last ride, Watkins said. I suppose it's a goodbye. This happened Wednesday, February 7th. Watkins walked through Disneyland with a cane and needed a wheelchair to get up the ramp to take the ride he created 40-plus years ago. The details of Space Mountain remain about the same as what he engineered, a 200-foot circle, an indoor space of 1.8 million cubic feet, girders that rise 68 feet, track that extends 2,267 feet.
So, personally, if I was a CM and I saw a dude being put, like an 87-year-old dude being pushed in a wheelchair, nope.
Yep. Nope,
I'm not liable for this.
Nope.
Sorry, bud.
I need get Iger's skinny butt down
For
here. Let's
real.
go. Let's do
That's a
this.
stamp of approval. I know.
Right?
Wait, I'm sorry. What date was this?
February 7th.
That's today.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is today, dude.
Okay, there you go. Today.
This is hot news.
Breaking news. This is a weird article, man. But anyway, blah,
That's because it
blah.
was written like 20 minutes ago. It hasn't been edited yet.
I'm trying. Yeah, it's. I'm trying to just get to the point of like, did he still like it? I don't know, man. To honor Watkins, the Space Mountain staff turned on the lights inside the usually dark ride. The lights made it possible for Watkins to examine his old handiwork. He noticed details like the width of the tubing on the track and how quickly the cars launch, one every 22.2 seconds. Watkins and King sat in the first car and zoomed through the ride. He said he remembers working on the math for the highest banks and the fastest curves. When the ride finished, Watkins didn't smile. Someone asked him how he felt. Fine, he said. And then Watkins did what we all would want to do when faced with our last ride. He asked a simple question. Can we go again?
Aww.
The staff hopped back into position, but this time they turned off the lights. Watkins said he wanted to ride Space Mountain the same way millions of others have ridden it over the past 41 years. This time, the ride seemed faster. It's better in the dark, he said.
Oh, man.
You know what? Maybe you're reading his thoughts in his journal that he writes.
Maybe.
Maybe that's what this article
Maybe this
is.
never actually happened.
Wow, man.
Here's a weird one. And I wouldn't have normally read it, but I think it's such an absurd article that somebody actually wrote. 5 Disney characters you didn't know were voiced by Mormons.
Sorry. What?
Why is that relevant?
Now you know why we're here.
Well, this is an important issue.
Yeah. But this is from like a Mormon LDS Living or whatever. It's
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Latter-day Saints.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But it showed up in my feed. I was like, who the... Oh, I got to read this now. All right. When it comes to Disney fandom, most people don't know Donny Osmond's voice was featured in Mulan as he sings the iconic I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Wait, Donny Osmond is Mormon?
Big time.
Yeah.
But
The whole
Donny
family,
Osmond
yeah. Know that.
isn't the only Mormon to add voice to Disney characters and help bring the magic alive. Here are other popular Disney characters voiced by Mormons.
It sounds like the Hanukkah song. Other Mormons just like you and me.
Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh, Mormon.
Okay.
Frank Kenneth Sansom,
Who is that?
Mormon.
the voice
Oh,
of
that's
the guy.
voice. Okay.
Okay,
Rabbit
I
from
know.
Winnie the Pooh.
I thought it was a Disney character. I was like, guys, you shouldn't let me be on the show. I don't know who that is.
That's the worst name for a character ever.
There you go. Frank Kenneth Sansom. Christopher Robin from Winnie the Pooh. Mormon. Christopher Robin was also sometimes voiced by church member Brady Bloom, who served a mission in Concepcion, Chile, and appeared in shows like Star Trek Voyager, Murphy Brown, CSI, and others.
Murphy Brown.
Murphy Brown. I forgot about
Forgot
that
that show
show.
existed.
And they're doing an update, not
Of course
rebooting
they
it.
are.
They're doing a new one, but I think it's like 6 episodes or something. It's not like a full thing,
Okay,
but
good.
I liked Murphy Brown.
Is it still on
Yeah,
Candace
yeah.
Bergen?
That's
I
Is it
think
going to
so.
be like 107?
The Magic Mirror from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Mormon.
Mormon.
Okay.
I don't know, man. This is just
That's
the
weird.
dumbest. Yeah, I know. Rhino
Hey, they're proud of it.
from Bolt.
I've never
Nobody's
Bolt.
seen Bolt.
None,
No.
Literally none of us.
Rhino's the hamster, apparently.
That makes sense.
Rhino the hamster.
Right.
All right.
And 5, Lucy Goosey from Chicken Little.
Nobody's seen that either.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, actually.
There you
Oh,
go.
sorry.
Mormons. 5 of them.
Just 5.
Oh my goodness! I thought it was just like picking 5 random. That's it in the history of Disney.
Well, I don't know that.
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying 5 people.
But you would think if there was
Mormons.
10,
How do you
they would
Google
have
that?
said 10.
Okay.
Well, you would think. This is a cool. It's more of a video, but I'll read you the article and then you can like Google the thing. Thanks to the sharing capabilities of social media, it was revealed that 2 Disney theme parks suffered headless robot glitches on opposite sides of the world. The first decapitation happened at Disneyland in California in the middle of The Little Mermaid, Ariel's undersea adventure. The evil villain Ursula's head was dangling from her body, attached by only a few wires and cords.
How traumatic for
That's
like a little kid.
amazing.
This video.
It really is terrifying.
Awful. It's
Yeah,
just
it
like
really
her
is.
giant shoulders.
And it's
And a-
hanging like a foot down.
When
It's-
was this?
I don't know.
A couple weeks
It's only
ago.
January 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just missed it.
But she wasn't the only ride to feature a breakdown at Disney Park. Oh my God, I didn't know about this one.
The pirate. Oh, sorry.
Wow, spoiler alert!
Get out of here.
Sorry.
His mic's going, don't worry.
Finally.
One of the auctioneers at the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction in Disneyland Paris also lost his head on Sunday. The poster knew that flash photography was forbidden while sailing through the pirate scenes, but decided she had to share the disturbing dangling head anyway.
Look, I would flash photography that thing.
You would flash photography it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude, and it's hanging out. His head is at his waist. Like, how does that happen?
Oh man.
Twice
That's kind of
on
awesome.
the same day. That's so weird.
That is that's
Well, that's the animatronics taking over.
yeah.
Right.
Skynet. They just haven't figured it out yet.
I'm on this.
Those ones were the weakest link.
I'm on this guy's. The guy who reported the Paris one. I'm on his. What is this? Twitter, and I'm trying to find that one that was like how many times it was retweeted, because I wonder like some. Yeah. So the one on
Ursula?
the Ursula's head that fell off, that was retweeted like 700 times.
And then they all retweeted it 700 times.
Yeah, and then so this is why I was looking this up. So his stuff has like 2 retweets or 4. The one with the pirate, 983. It was liked 34,000 times.
Wow.
No,
Can you imagine how excited he was
3,400 times,
that
sorry.
day?
Can you imagine how horrifying it would be, like if you got on Small World and all of the dolls didn't have heads?
Actually, be kind of funny.
It'd be amazing.
That's the next
They're all
step.
just dangling.
That'd be amazing.
I think it's weird that the heads didn't like just fall off. Like they dangle. Like
Wires.
By the wires.
yeah, that's weird.
So are they like still singing? So creepy.
Like if the mouths are still moving.
Yeah, yeah.
I doubt that.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, here's the last story, and then we'll get out of here. You can enter to design your own flying theater attraction and win $10,000.
So we're doing this, right?
yeah, we have to do this.
We're definitely doing this. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Applications will soon be taken for a contest sponsored by SIGGRAPH, which is taking place in Vancouver, Canada in 2018. For those unfamiliar, SIGGRAPH is a conference where filmmakers, scientists, and even ride designers get together to share stories, techniques, and best practices for computer graphics and interactive techniques. This event is being sponsored by Flyover Canada, a flying theater-style attraction. Participants will create a short film that will be showcased at Flyover Canada's theater during SIGGRAPH 2018. According to the website, we invite creators to develop content specific to the FOC theater system that supports motion, spray mist, and wind effects. Oh, so you have to make a movie. I thought it was you're pitching an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we're out.
Boring.
We're just
But hey,
not
man,
smart
if-
enough to do it.
Yeah, if you're into it, go to what is the website? Just Google SIGGRAPH Flyover Canada, and you'll figure it out.
Just lost $10,000.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's it. That's the reason why. Because if we would have done it, we would have.
Oh, we would have won for sure. Just like we win the moms panel.
Well, because between the 4 of us, we
Too
make
soon.
at least one brain.
At least.
Maybe.
Well, we have a cat in here, so we at least equal 4 brains now. She's like a big loaf. My cat, she's a big loaf on the ground.
She's probably the majority brain holder, too.
All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here. Thank you to Lindsay from the Disney Moms panel for coming on and telling us how she won and all the cool stuff that happened because of that. And just clearing up a bunch of misconceptions. And now Terrence and I feel much more full in the mind to be able to tackle this.
We're making it next year, both of us.
I hope so. When is the? It's usually September-ish, right?
September-ish, yeah.
Yeah, because they don't give you a whole lot of time to be able to like go to training.
No.
Training's in December.
Yeah, training's in December, and I had my interview like early November.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, everybody, thank you a lot. There's no fact of the show tonight because I'm not prepared.
There's no more facts left.
There's no more facts.
We know everything.
Everything else is rumor about Star Wars.
Right. All right, until next time, everybody, we will see you in the parks.